Hey, Pure Joy here. I am from the parenting division at Pure Love and Beyond. So I am the mom. And this is actually the wig that I wear like most of the time. Like if I go out with my kids and I want to present myself better, then I put this wig on. Now, if I'm working, which I'll be working later today, we got moving to do, then they're just going to see me with no hair and a ball cap and a t-shirt because I gotta work. I gotta move bins today. Um, because I will make a video on this another time as we get it together. I'm trying to find a little area to set up a sewing studio for my girls because they're like 7 and 10. And I started sewing when I was 5. And it gave me such a great amount of confidence that I have to pass that on to my daughters. Like they're already getting an education. They go to school. I don't have to be homeschooling mom, but I want to pass on things to my daughters. My spiritual beliefs, since we don't go to church, we don't do religion. So spiritual beliefs are really important. Relationship stuff, like I think I'm going to talk about that right now. I was going to talk about something different. I was going to talk about my son, but we're still figuring that out. So I'm going to talk about my 10-year-old daughter. Oh my gosh. So the conversations that I need to start having with her, and it changes. Like, okay, I have 4 children, and they are all different ages, ranges. Like each one of them has problems, concerns, is needing support in a different area. And trust me, I get judged as a parent. I was just at my brother's house last night, and I was just like, you got to think about this. When somebody is trying to tell you something, you got to think about where it's coming from. Hey, I love my brother. He's cool. I haven't seen him in a while. I just saw his brand new little baby. So Nana and Papa I had the youngest child. Mine was 7, and now 7 years later, there's a new baby. So it's really cool, very cute. I didn't hold the baby. I don't know. I just looked at the baby. And he's I think 43. His girl's like 28. So it was nice. I'm glad to see him married with a child and being a good provider and father. But anyway, so, we're having a conversation about parenting, and it's like, you have an 8-year-old and a newborn. I've been a mother for 23 years. Don't tell me how to parent my 23-year-old. We are doing just fine. He is doing great. I can talk about my 23-year-old son in another video, but I'm super proud of him. He's really stepped up in the past 6 months, and we have a great, great relationship. And especially now that I moved out. My daughters are not here right now because mommy's working very hard, and I'm still having to get their room together. I'll make another video on their room. This is just their bed behind me. I didn't know where to go, to make a video. I try to choose different places. I have a 15-year-old son, and I'll talk about him. He's awesome. He's my favorite person right now in the world. I love having conversations with him, and he's my bud. He's going to help me today. We're going to probably put in at least 4 hours moving stuff, so that we can get mommy more set up and have get his sisters set up. So I have at least 3 more videos to make, maybe 4. My 23-year-old son, my 15-year-old son, and then showing the studio that we're setting up. That'll be number 3. So that'll be out in 3 weeks. And I'm sure I'll talk about my youngest daughter because she's just so sweet, and maybe she'll show up on camera with me. I'm going to try to get all of my kids to kind of show up. I've already asked my 15-year-old, hey, man, we got 3 videos to make together. I'm going to put it out there, and hey, in a month, come back to me because, man, you got some wisdom in you. You are well beyond your years of 15. So I'll talk about him next week. And then maybe in about a month, he'll show up and we'll do a series that I feel is just super, super important. We were talking about grief. because he lost his dad 3 years ago, and he's handled it so very well. And we were talking about alcohol and drugs, and his views on that. And he's already been in 2 relationships, like I think about 2.5 years of relationships, and he's just a really great boyfriend to his girls. And also we're talking about work and stuff. So there's like a lot of depression. We were talking about depression, like wisdom coming out of this young man's mouth. I told him, you're a man. You are a man. I don't care if you're only 15 and a half, you're a man. And I'm so happy to have you in my life. All right. So let's talk about my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. Whew, I gotta breathe, man. I gotta smoke a cigarette to talk about this. This is not what I expected. Right now, I thought I had a few more years, and the universe is just, whew, right smacking me on the face. Like, I guess it could be a little bit of karma. I mean, hey, I was thrown out into the world, lost my partner of 20 years. So instead of this little girl growing up and seeing, her dad died 3 years ago. So for the first 7 years of her life, she saw a good relationship with a man and a woman. I had a great, great husband. I loved him to death. He died. He died on me. Till death do us part. That's the kind of commitments I make to the people I love. As long as there's mutual love back. I don't let men take advantage of me. Out of my life. Out of my life. You lie to me, out of my life. I give you 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give you 5 chances. Boom. Done. I get to the point where I'm done. So anyway, my daughters have watched that. I've had multiple men in my life in the past 3 years. And damn, I love the idea that I had daughters later in life. My daughters came when I was 36 years old and 39 and a half. But I did not expect to lose my husband that soon. I knew he was going to die on me. I knew I'd have 4 children and he would die. But I didn't expect to have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old that then watched my life and observed my life for 3 years. And they knew that I had a really toxic connection. And when mommy would come back in tears because I wasn't treated right, because I was put down, because I was called a slut, because I was in slut energy with this man, and I decided, no more. I'm not a fucking slut. You see me as a slut because I'm trying to please you and be who you want me to be. And no more. So my daughter played a song for me. Mom, I really like this song. The name of the song is Slut. I'll be a slut. I'll be a little whore. And I have never projected that energy. Like she's been finding, because she knew I was a dancer for a little while. But I wasn't being a slut. I was performing. I was working out. Like, she doesn't know the whole story behind it. And I tried to be as open as I could with a 10-year-old. And no judgment here. You got something negative to say, just get off my channel, okay? Like I'm sharing my story. And you could be an observer and you could listen. And I'm just sharing what I'm going through. This is my journey in life, and you got your own journey. And if you want to tell me about your journey, I'll listen to your journey, and I'm not going to judge you. So don't judge me. It's the same, okay? So I was thrown into a lifestyle that I was thrown into this real world, and this is the lifestyle a lot of people live, and there's a lot of toxicity, and so my daughter's absorbed some of that. And I got one daughter she's still, since the day she was my little daughter, like, I'm going to find myself a good boyfriend and husband. She wants husband and baby. The other one doesn't want a baby. She's never wanted babies. Like, she's like, if I have babies, my sister's going to take care of them. And I've known that. I've got a mommy girl, and I got a girl that I've known since I knew when she was very young, 3 years old. I knew that I was going to have to try to just share my views when it comes to sex with her. I knew I just knew it. I was like, by 13, this girl's going to be having sex and she's going to be heartbroken. And like, and so it's starting right now. She's not having sex, but, it hurts my heart. It really does, because I know what she's going to experience, and I'm going to have to be there to support her through what men are going to do to her. I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is when men look at you in a lesser light, and it's wrong. And I so badly want to protect this little girl, and I am protecting her. There's no men that are older in my life. I don't have, like, she's protected. Like, there's no child molestation. Trust me, I've had the government come to me like, are you doing child pornography and stuff, because of some of the stuff that I do as like an adult content creator. And no, there's none of that. Which is why I'm clean, which is why I don't drink, which is why I don't do drugs, because I got to be a good mom to these 4 very special children in my life, very special people in my life that I love dearly, more than anybody else in my life. And they come first, I cannot have a man in my life that puts my children at risk, or that puts my kids down, or anything like that, or that harms my kids, any of them. It doesn't, they're out. I had an ex-boyfriend that was 23 at the time, 24, he was still living with me. And he went out because I'm going to side with my son. So my 10-year-old has a daughter, my 10-year-old daughter has a boyfriend now at 10 years old. She asked me last week, how old do I have to be to date? And I said, honey, I'm not going to control who you love in this lifetime. If you love somebody, I'm not going to say you're not allowed to love that person. I know how that feels. I've had people in my life, all my life, say, you can't love that person. That person's bad for you. My own husband, after 20 years, I loved that man. Everybody in my family judged him, called him lazy. He was not lazy to me. I saw that man by my side every day working. Now, yes, when he got around 40, like the first 10 years he was not. When he got around 40, I could tell he was starting to get sick. And his energy was starting to drop, and he needed some time to, he still did. He wasn't doing as much, but he was still very supportive. If I said, hey, let's go down to the studio and do this, he was down there that day with me. No fucking 3 months, 6 months, 3 years later. No, that man was there with me by my side. And so I know how he was. I lived with him every day. So just because he didn't have money coming in, okay, fine. Anybody in the world can judge him and say he was a lazy man and he was not a provider. But to me, in my 3D world, he was a provider. He took care of us. He was a protector. He might not have been a provider in a sense of like money. And I'm not even supposed to be talking about this. I'm supposed to be talking about my daughter. And God, some of me just really wishes that I had my husband. Like, it's so sad that she doesn't have her father. It's okay. This was the life that this is the situation we're in. And so she wants her boyfriend to come over, and like now I'm like thinking like all this stuff, like, oh my God, they can't be alone. Like I don't want I don't want to be a grandparent. Like I don't want to be taking care of my daughter's child. Hey, in some countries they marry girls off at 10, 11, 12, 13, but in America it's hard. It's a hard place to live. Like you got to have so much in place. And yes, I can help her set up a business, and yes, I can help her like bloom as like a little designer. Like the other one wants to be a designer, the young one, the 7-year-old. But I can help the other one be like an artist and create some kind of home-based business, so that she can care for her babies and create money as an abundant female. Yes, I can teach my daughters, both of them, how to be abundant. But a baby at a young age, I had friends that had babies at a young age. I had a friend in church that was having sex at 11, got pregnant at 13. My cousin got pregnant at 15. My cousin is a millionaire now, and she's a year younger than me, and she's got 5 children, 4 or 5 children. But and they're the huge age range like my children, from like 7 to 23, and hers are like 28 because she started earlier than me. I was an old maid having children at like 23. Like for Tucson, Arizona, like that was old. Like these girls are so promiscuous at such a young age. I wasn't. I waited until I was 17. I was married to a man before I had sex, and I was on birth control because I did not want to get pregnant by that guy. Because I could already see the red flags, and like he was not going to treat me right, and he was going to break me down, and no way, no way. I was like, no, I'm not. I got to get out of this relationship. But I just hope and pray that she attracts in good people. But I'm already sensing, like, when the mother doesn't want to talk to me, it's like, I'm going to have to be a mother. I'm going to have to watch out for this 10-year-old boy coming over to my house. She's already had another friend that they've been friends for like 3 years, and he asked to date her too. And so I was like, no. And I said no because I just know how I was like, no, I'll talk to his mom. Like, we can't have this happen. Well, now it's like 2 months later, a month later, and I'm like, I say this one phrase, and then she's all of a sudden, she's like, I got a boyfriend now. And he's writing to her, I love you, in text messages. And she's thinking about like, well, what am I going to wear to school today? I got to wear something that he likes. And I'm like, no. You do not dress to please a man. If you need somebody to give you validation on how that outfit looks, get it from 10 other people. He's only one opinion. So I'm just like, oh, she is like so falling into this, like, he's my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. I have my boyfriend. Look at my boyfriend saying. And I want to keep that open communication. And I do not want to judge her. And I do not want to say, like, you can't do this, because all of a sudden there's going to be secrets. And then she's not going to be open with me. And then when she comes to me and she's heartbroken, I'm not going to know the whole story. So I am allowing my 10-year-old daughter to have a boyfriend. But this is a struggle. So along with everything else, the 15 characters I play in my business, the programs that I'm going to be creating, we're working on 3 different programs. We have like free guides, we have like free programs. So there's like another 10, 15 things that I'm creating. This is why I have to do group coaching and group programs, because the time that I have to be on a call with other people in the world is limited. Like I got like, 1 hour, like 3 hours a week that I can set aside for that, because I have 4 children that need a lot of my energy and time and thought. And even if I'm not with my children right now, I'm having this conversation right now and I'm thinking about it, and it sits with me, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to navigate this with grace, with compassion, with understanding, with support, being a supportive parent? And how am I going to share with her that giving your body to a man can be very emotional, damaging, heartbreaking? Like, and this is not a man, this is a 10-year-old boy. Like, please, honey, do not do this. Like, how do I keep my daughter from having sex too early? And I'm not asking the question and looking for feedback. If you have a story that you want to share and you have a daughter that was young. I know I was 14 with a boyfriend, and I did it behind my parents' back. And my mom caught us, messing around. And then it was cut off. And then 2 weeks later, he got another girl pregnant. And that's fine. It happened like it happened. I'm glad I wasn't pregnant at 14. Like I said, I had a friend that got pregnant at 15 out here. My best friend from church. It's always the church girls. I know. I'm a church girl. I know what we do. I don't do anything right now. I'm celibate. Hey, we can go in 2 different directions. But depending on how bad we get hurt. And so 17, she was pregnant at 17. She ended up having 4 children too. And she ended up marrying that guy. And they built a business. And she was basically his slave, taking care of the babies and supporting him in his business. And he was a fucking asshole to her. And he did not like me because I was feisty and I stood up for myself. And so she ended up getting married and having her 5th child with a good man. But that was years later. She literally suffered with this man for 20 years. Thank God I did not suffer with a man for 20 years. Thank God I was not in a bad relationship. I had a very loving, caring husband. And so I know good relationships. He might not have had money. Okay, so hey, I'd like a guy that treats me right and has money. I'll call that in. The universe, I'm ready for my blessings. I've had enough hell in my life in the past 4 years that I'm ready. So yeah, that's basically where I am right now with a 10-year-old daughter. And I'm sure more is going to come out. We have all those other videos that we're going to release, but we will circle back around in about 6 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I have 4 kids, so maybe every week I will talk about how I'm being a supportive parent and the challenges that are presented that week with a different child. And then, like I said, I'll have them on. Maybe the next time she comes on, because like I said, I want to bring on my son because he's just awesome. Maybe the next time we come on in like 6 weeks, we will have her come on, and maybe we can get a 10-year-old view of love and relationships minus the sex. Please, Lord, I'm going to start praying. I do not want that for her. But ultimately, it's her life. And I just don't want her to start with that so young. I mean, maybe if she was married after a rich guy or something, but no. She just, there's going to be some conversations, and I did not think that I would be having love, relationships, sex conversations with a 10-year-old. But this is as a love, relationship, sex coach, it makes sense. I mean, somebody had just said, well, you exposed it to her at a young age. All right, so now we're going to have these conversations. I hope that these conversations help other parents that have girls that are starting at a young age. This is a challenge to go through. It's a challenge to navigate. There's communication, and they're kind of at a defiant age. She's always been a little bit of a defiant child. She's very bold, strong. She has her own opinions, and it's like, you're not going to control me, Mom. You're right. I'm not going to control you. I'm going to love you. But I want the best for you, and I love you, and I know that giving your body to a man, if it's the wrong man who's in the wrong energy, or if it's the wrong time, and if they're not mature, no matter what age they are, men in their 40s lack a lot of maturity these days. I want to make sure that she's not taken advantage of. And when all these emotions of love get involved, and women will end up doing things that they should not be doing, and girls too. So, I wish it could just be a conversation about women, and we're talking, 18 plus, but no. There's a whole slew of girls that have to deal with being taken advantage of and giving their body away to a man who then does not respect them, who cuts them down, who keeps them small, who wants to just, use them for their own physical needs and not give back. And so that's not a conversation I'm exactly going to have with her, but I'm going to have these conversations that are not at my level, but at her level, having to do with the same thing. It's a challenge. All right. So this is the longest video I've made because it really is close to my heart. And this is my daughter. It's my daughter, man. This is hard. So yeah, we'll see. We'll come back around in 4 to 6 weeks and check in, and I'll see if I can get her to show up and talk. All right. Thank you for watching, and I love you.